Here is how you can make a realistic sounding guitar inside of FL Studio with only MIDI. Your guitars will be sounding something like this. So I'm not going to break down the entire beat in this video. I have plenty of videos on my channel that go in depth with the other types of things. Today we're going to focus purely on the guitar. First I'm going to break down the guitar that we've got here, and then we're going to make our own little guitar together so I can show you some of the ways to make it a little more interesting. So if we come back here, we're going to bring up the pattern because I exported it for the actual beat. So we got the pattern here, and the plugin that we're using is actually called Flex. Now this is free, and the preset we're using is Ace of Space, so this is also free. Now when doing the guitar, you want to focus on a few things. Building chord. Now the way I build chords with the guitar to make them sound realistic is I make a normal chord, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the middle note and put it up higher. Now this is going to make a power chord, so let's listen. I'd also recommend turning down the velocity because it is quite harsh, so something a little more gentle. Now also when you play a guitar, you're not playing every single note at the exact same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight it by holding Control and dragging, and then hit Alt S, and now we can strum it. Now usually you start up and then down, so we can do it like this and just play around with it. You can press space to start and pause just until you find something you like. And then as well as this, we're also going to randomize the velocity, so we're going to hit Alt R, and this is going to randomize how hard they're being hit, so it's just to give it a little more natural kind of feeling. Now when transitioning to other chords, I like to clone the chord like this and just shorten it, so it's going to sound like this. So it's kind of like, you know, you're like strumming it. Now in certain VSTs like this one here, which I'll show you right now, the Ample Guitar M Lite, this has a little sound which is like someone tapping on the guitar, so this was quite good if you listen. And when building the melody, I kind of done it by ear, and I know you probably hear that in a lot of videos and it annoys you because you don't understand what by ear means. A lot of the time when people say they done it by ear is they do this. So we're going to play this. Okay. Maybe that could sound better here. So basically you're just experimenting a lot and playing over and over again until you hear something that you like. Another way you could do this is actually hum along to it. So you could be like, and then you can kind of hear how that sounds. So that would be, that note could be a bit longer. And remember the thing with this as well, you don't always want the notes exactly on the grid. If you hit Alt, you can kind of offset it. Obviously, because no human's perfect, you're not going to be able to, you know, play those notes perfectly on time every time. So yeah, we're going to get rid of this, and we're going to come up with a new melody, just to give an example. So we're going to change, and you can just start off really simple. So we can start off with like whole notes. So it's like, maybe something like this. Alright, so that's, you know, you can kind of hear some sort of like rhythm to that. So we're going to add this as well as the slap. So like if you rub your hands across the strings in a guitar, it makes that sound. So it's kind of like you transition into to some chords. So we can just pop that one there. Just turn it up a little bit. Now we've got our basic notes here. We're going to add in some filler notes. So we're just going to look in some little pockets, and maybe a note works here. Okay, no. So let's let this note be a bit longer. It's not quite the right note. See, that's kind of sounding nice. And these notes before, these kind of like stutter notes, I like to put down in velocity. Not too much. And now when I listen to this, it feels like there's something missing here. So we can add another note here. But that's not really the right note. Let's try this one. And then maybe we could do like a little alternating thing here. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're going to turn this down in velocity. Okay, that's sounding a little nicer. Okay, and then maybe we can add a note here. Okay, that's sounding nice. It sounds a little basic, so we can add another note. Okay, you see how adding those notes kind of makes it seem more realistic and it gives it a little more interest. Now, I just want you to get used to trying this out and practicing with your ear. So now we're going to move on to like the second half, and maybe for this one, the chord only changes slightly. So we just take this top note and put it down, and then we grab our little melody that we've made here. So first we'll grab the melody and we'll put this up an octave. And then we'll put this bit up an octave as well. And then let's try and put this down. Hear what this sounds like. Sounding nice. Maybe we don't need this bit here and we can kind of add some resolution to this melody. Nice. Now we've got a nice little melody. Now you could always make this more interesting by adding different chords and stuff, but we're going to keep it simple. So yeah, you're welcome to follow along with this, of course. So yeah, I really don't think it's too difficult. The most difficult part, I think, is coming up with catchy melodies, like things that, you know, like people recognize. Like, could argue while this does sound quite real, it's not very catchy, which sure, but so we're gonna add some effects to it as well, because we don't just want to leave this on its own. So what I like to do is export it, then add effects, but just for this demonstration you don't need to. It's not a necessity. I just like doing it. So we're gonna add an EQ, and the reason we add an EQ is because we want to cut out some of the bass, because we don't want it to take up too many frequencies in our beat. So, and then maybe we could add some emphasis on like the high end. Maybe a bit of mid, anything you can do. We can also export this out and flip the guitar completely. Let's say we've made this realistic guitar and we want to use it on some sort of trap beat. We could just flip this. So maybe we could do something like put it on a new, not on the drum bus, put it on a new track and then add, what, halftime? Halftime usually just makes samples, you know, sound a lot different. So we're just going to add halftime. Put this up an octave. A little more of a catchy melody by using halftime. So that's always an option. We can always like, that's too slow. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll slap it on some drums and see what it sounds like. Just these drums that I've got here, and see if, you know, it sounds good. I feel like with a couple more layers, you know, maybe some bass, and this is the wrong key, but you know, if the bass was correct, that would sound pretty sick. So yeah, I might even keep this for the beat and add it into a different section. So yeah, I hope this video, the skill of a time, and I think this is sounding pretty good. So yeah, if this video did help, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Also, thanks for 10K on the other video. Woo!